Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us today on another of the Spark webinars that we have every few weeks, every couple of months, to introduce you to new campaigns that are going live onto the site. So thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see so many of them on the webinar. We'd also like to welcome those who are joining for the first time. It's great to see so many of those as well. Today we are showcasing three new campaigns onto the Spark site. All three very different, but all three very strong businesses with great potential, and more than anything else, have a strong product and have a strong team behind them as well. First of all, we've got Peckish up first, then we have HaloSOS, and finally we have a Site Passport. So I'll do all the introductions to those in a minute, but I just wanted to tell you a couple of things first of all. Last month we had we completed a campaign for a company called Netfasa. We raised over 240% of their campaign target and totaled overall in the end 850,000 for them. Their initial target was 350,000, so they obviously well overfunded, and they were delighted to take it, and we were delighted to facilitate that for them as well. Mike and the team were delighted with the results, and we've got great confidence in them that they can execute on their plan to deliver a good return for those who invested in the business. So well done to all of those at Netfasa, and thanks very much for anybody who invested into them as well. So we've got a very exciting pipeline of new and old campaigns waiting in the sidelines to go onto the site. So we have one and possibly two of our alumni, in addition to that of HaloSOS, who are going to be coming onto the site to raise again, which we're very excited about. But of course, in addition to some other very exciting novel businesses that we've got in the pipeline, and we're going to be introducing you to very shortly. So we're very excited about that. Just want to reiterate that I've said this before as well, but don't forget, unlike other investment vehicles, anybody investing into companies through Spark pays zero commission. So investors pay nothing at all, no commission, no fees for you to even consider. So it makes it very easy for you. So if you're investing €1,000, then it is €1,000. It's not €1,000 plus fees, commission, expenses, and everything else that goes along with it. So so that's something really important to keep in mind. So as always, we're always very keen to arrange one-on-one meetings with the promoters. If any investor wants to ask more detailed questions of the investor, of the promoter around the business. So if you'd like to do that at any time, please reach out to me, and we will facilitate that one-on-one meeting. We're very happy to do that. And the investees, the promoters of the company, are very happy to do that as well, of course. So great, without further ado, let's get started. So Paul, you're up first, so if you could open your camera, if you would, please. This is Paul O'Shea from Peckish. Paul is down in Cork at the moment, and we were very happy to go down to the Republic of Work, which is where Paul is based, to do an investment presentation a few weeks ago now, which was very well supported. So Paul, as I say, is CEO and founder of Peckish. Peckish is a menu management and marketing service for restaurants to promote their menu items online to targeted customer segments by allowing users to search for tailored recommendations based on personal preferences and dietary requirements for multiple online delivery collection services. Paul will talk you more through that, of course, in a second. He's currently on the platform looking for €150,000 worth of investment, and he's just surpassed the 100,000 mark. So congratulations on that, Paul. And I think I'll leave you to it. So please open up your presentation, and away you go.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Chris.
Great. We can see that. Maximize, and I'll leave you to it.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul O'Shea, and I'm the founder of Peckish, which is Ireland's hungriest startup. We've developed the easiest way to find your food online. Peckish is a personalized menu food search engine where we match the right dish to the right customer based on their personal preferences or their dietary requirements. On top of that, we help restaurants to increase their online orders, providing them with delicious insights. So looking at the problem, consumers cannot simply search for their favorite foods online and be told exactly where to order or purchase them online. This is especially difficult if you're one of the millions of consumers looking for vegan or gluten-free dishes. Along with that, the majority of restaurants struggle with marketing and managing their menu online. And that's why we created Peckish. Peckish is a personalized menu search engine that instantly finds the food you love, including dietary and ingredient-enabled search to give you pinpoint accuracy on what you're looking for. This allows restaurants to capture new customers and increase their revenue, while also providing consumers with a better experience for finding their food than ever before. So for consumers, this is Peckish.ie. It's an easy-to-use menu search engine where you can find exactly what you're looking for from your favorite restaurants. On top of that, we're displaying 3 restaurants here now in the system: Total, Burnt, and White Rabbit. But each one of these restaurants is on a different online ordering platform for delivery. And as well as that, if you want to do click and collect, you've got to go directly to their website to complete an order. Whereas Peckish, we're integrating with these online ordering platforms to create a frictionless searching and ordering experience for consumers. For restaurants, they get that online ordering marketplace without the online ordering marketplace fees. They can list their preferred ordering platform so they can retain the most profit. The system was actually designed by the restaurant's chefs and their managers. So you've got an easy to use menu management system. The allergen system is based off the requirements from the Food Safety Authority of Ireland. So consumers can easily filter by restaurant menus when they're looking at it, seeing what dishes are gluten-free or vegetarian or vegan. On the restaurant's internal dashboard, they get delicious insights on how consumers are viewing and interacting with their menu. So how many times people are looking at specific menu items, menu sections, how many times their dishes appear in search appearances, and as well as that, how many orders are actually going to their preferred ordering platform. On top of that, we actually go into our restaurant partners and create content around their mouth-watering menu items that we can push out on social media with the likes of Instagram, TikTok, and other ones as well. But you might say, is there too much activity in their food space? You seem to have a lot of competitors. But the thing is, these aren't our competitors. These are data points. These companies are data points that we can integrate with, pull their menu information from, to be able to onboard our restaurant partners in a matter of minutes. We're already commercially live and generating revenues. We generate revenue in 2 ways. We're introducing a tiered subscription model this year. So we currently have a subscription model where restaurants pay $19.95 per month per restaurant. We're also introducing a freemium model and a standard model priced at $39.95. We can also generate commissions from our online ordering partners, doing a revenue share with them. I would stress that the restaurants see no incremental or extra commission on any orders that we provide to them. The market opportunity for Peckish is huge. The total addressable market today, estimated by McKinsey, is to be worth over 150 billion and expected to grow to over 450 billion in the next 3 years. 37% of restaurants globally accept online orders. And for the number of consumers who are more conscious about what they're eating, whether they're vegan, vegetarian, or celiac, has increased rapidly in recent years. Well, one stat from Google is showing that the term vegan food near me shot up 5,000% in 2021. When you look at the restaurant market, there's over 5,000 restaurants in Ireland and over 500,000 in Europe. We're not targeting your local chipper or your Michelin star restaurant. We're targeting small to medium-sized, quick and full-service restaurants that offer online ordering and have an active presence on social media. Over the past 2 years, we've done a huge amount of market research into the sector. We've developed our beta. We launched our beta during COVID when restaurants were only operating online ordering, and we actually started actively generating monthly recurring revenue from restaurants during COVID. We received some great activity on the platform, which piqued some interest from Enterprise Ireland, where we received €50,000 investment as part of the competitive Star Fund. That allowed us to build out our initial team, creating part-time and full-time hires across marketing and development. We took part in a number of startup programs like NDRC's Pre-Accelerator, including Google's Adopt a Startup program, where we were one of 10 startups to be selected for that. We're currently working on an integration with Flipdish, Ireland's online ordering tech unicorn, to create direct ordering on the Peckish platform to our shared customers. We're launching in Dublin this summer very shortly, and we're aiming to get to over 1,000 restaurants on the platform by the end of this year, while also targeting €10,000 in monthly recurring revenue in December. We've had some great activity on the platform, as I said. We've had over 13,000 people on Peckish. They've performed over 20,000 searches, which has populated over 450,000 search results. We've over 25 customers on the platform, and they've generated over €18,000 worth of online sales through Peckish. From the content that we create when we go into our restaurants, it's been seen over 750,000 times between Instagram and TikTok without spending €1 on targeted advertising. Our restaurants love us, whether it's adding additional revenues and sales to their online ordering platforms, or creating an easy way to showcase their menu to new consumers. As I said, we've took part in a number of startup programs, but we've also received some national recognition. We were the second best hospitality, food and beverage website of the year last year, while only operating in Cork City. We were a regional finalist in the food and drink startup in the National Startup Awards, and I was also selected as one of Ireland's 30 under 30. So this year, we're expanding into the wider Irish market. We're aiming to enter the UK market in Q1 of 2023, and we're entering the wider European market at the earliest of Q4 of 2023, but most likely Q1 of 2024. Obviously, to generate a number of sales on the platform, we have to acquire a large amount of consumers. So that's why we're very much focused on B2C marketing strategies across content creation, targeted advertising, user-generated content, and SEO. For most of our restaurant partners, we actually appear on page 1 of Google just by searching for their name. We aim to have over 15,000 people actively using Peckish at the end of this year, and we're actually testing our Flipdish ordering integration with one of our customers this week. We aim to have that rolled out before we enter the Dublin market. I've got 10 years of experience in the hospitality background, working in bars, restaurants, hotels, and cafes from Ireland to the US. And I also have a background in computer science. Pranesh Kumar has over 8 years of experience in software development, from leading teams and managing projects on his own. As well as that, Sarah is one of our marketing associates that help us curate, create, and schedule the content across our social media channels. We're raising €150,000 via Spark Crowdfunding, and we've already, as Chris said, have 100,000 of that locked in. We're an Enterprise Ireland client, and we'll be going for matched funding on that as well. And the use of our funds is always down to 3 things for us: product, people, and promotion. We're investing into the product with various integrations, such as the one we're doing with Flipdish. We have a number of other ordering systems that are looking to integrate with us, filling in AI recommendations to making sure we're matching the right dish to the right customer, and obviously releasing our mobile applications. We'll be hiring roles across sales, development, and marketing, and we'll be doing our first few targeted online advertising campaigns as we expand nationally this year. So in summary, Peckish is the easiest way to find the food you're looking for within 3 clicks and 10 seconds. The market potential in this sector is huge. We've been actively generating revenue from restaurants since COVID, and we're aggregating these large unicorn ordering partnerships, large unicorn ordering infrastructures, but also integrating with them. We're a multi-award winning early stage startup, and we're just getting started. I'd love to answer any questions you might have. Thanks very much.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Perfectly timed. Thanks very much. I've got a number of questions in, but I failed to say beforehand that if you do have a question of the people who are attending, please put it into the Q&A question box, and we will pose those questions to our promoters. So first one in though, are there any additional features and products planned, Paul, for the platform?
Sure. So I kind of touched on that a small bit there a minute ago, but so we're improving our automated menu onboarding system. So basically what that means is we can actually add hundreds of restaurants onto the system at a time. That's actually complete and just in beta testing. As well as that, we have an interest from a number of ordering platforms in Ireland and in the UK and European market as well. They're looking to integrate in with Peckish as we expand out there. We want to introduce relative and alternative pricing. So showing consumers what dishes are actually cheaper or easier or quicker to get from different ordering platforms. We'll be introducing user profiles. So Chris, you can create your own profile. You can say, I'm allergic to fish, but I like chicken. And we'll be looking at what kind of activity you're having on the platform and actually tailoring what's shown to you on Peckish with AI recommendations to making sure we're showing you the right dish that you're going to order. And as well as that, based on your dietary requirements, to show you what you can or cannot eat.
Very good. Excellent.
Excellent. I have a question here from you, from investors, Paul, just on KPIs. On average, what's the activity like on Peckish per month, per week? So what's kind of the up to date? I know you hit some milestones recently.
Sure. So we update our KPIs usually like a Monday every week, and we look at it from a 90-day perspective on kind of what's going up and going down. On average, we're kind of doing 30% growth month on month. I think over the last 90 days, we're averaging over 1,200 people on Peckish.ie with, on a weekly basis, that's between 300 and 400 people. On a search basis, I think over the last 90 days, let's say we would have done 4,500 searches. That equated to around 200 orders in the last 3 months, which equated to around €3,000 being generated for our restaurant partners. And then from the content creation side, we're doing around 150,000 views across Instagram and TikTok to be able to convert that traffic over to our platform as well.
Excellent. Well done. Yeah. Have you another one there, Chris?
Yep, I do. So what's the barrier to this kind of product feature for companies just like Just Eat and Deliveroo? They're already having digitized menus for most of the restaurants. So perhaps you can give us an explanation as to what that barrier might be.
Sure. So there's kind of two main points in that, I think, around Just Eat and Deliveroo and their actual digital menus. So Just Eat and Deliveroo have some limited search functionality built into their system, but it's not at a granular level that we do. So when we onboard restaurant menus, we look at what's in each dish. In each dish, there are ingredients, and each ingredient there's allergens. So we've got an allergen-based database where we can very much manipulate what consumers are finding down to pinpoint accuracy. As well as that, we let the restaurants list their preferred ordering platform, whether that's Just Eat or Deliveroo. Deliveroo in no world will list Just Eat as an ordering partner internally on the website. It's similarly to think if you've got an Amazon website or an Amazon sales house, you're not going to be listing your eBay page on that as well. So we're creating that kind of like decentralized ordering infrastructure. On top of that, with their digitized menus, that's actually a great thing for us. It's even without directly integrating with them, we're able to scrape all the menu information from these ordering platforms within GDPR, and it's quite easily available. We can, like we were testing this only a few weeks ago, we can pull the information from every restaurant on Just Eat in Cork. I think it's around 85 restaurants usually on kind of midweek. We can pull that into our system in a matter of minutes.
Very good.
Excellent. And then the MMR, Paul, you mentioned 10K by the end of the year. How's that break down on a kind of restaurant by restaurant basis?
Sure, yeah. So 10K monthly recurring revenue at the end of this year is actually a conservative estimate that we just did for subscriptions alone. That's not including commissions. So by the end of this year, we want to have 1,000 restaurants on the system. We're aiming for 50% of those to actually be on the freemium model, with 40% on our basic model and around 10% on our standard model. So our basic model is priced at $19.95 per month, and our standard model is priced at $39.85 per month. So I think that's around over €9,000 in monthly recurring revenue from the basic plan, and over €4,500 from the standard plan. And that's not including commissions. We're aiming to go between kind of $8,000 and €10,000 of commissions in December. So our actual target for revenue in December is around just over the 20K mark. But I would say as well, from that commission model, and I'd stress this again, we're not charging the restaurants extra incremental commissions. That is actually shared with the ordering partners that we're looking to work with. So that kind of breaks down to the €10,000 monthly recurring revenue is from our subscriptions alone, and that's from over around 500 paid restaurants on the system.
And
Excellent.
with that, a question has just popped in. What is the current MMR? If you can tell us that then, please, Paul.
Sure, yeah. So we've got 25 restaurants. We've got over 25 restaurants in the system. I think 2 of them are on an active trial at the moment. So we're doing just around kind of between 450 and €500 monthly recurring revenue at the moment. But that's only operating in a very hyper-local market here in Cork, where we'll be launching in Dublin with 500 restaurants in the system in the next 2 months.
Sure, absolutely. There's another one. Is there any reason why a restaurant wouldn't sign up to Peckish?
Is there a reason why a restaurant wouldn't sign up to Peckish? The restaurant mightn't sign up to Peckish if they've got a full-time social media marketer working internally on the restaurant that can give them a very much demonstrable return on investment of what their marketing capabilities are. But what we're doing as part of our freemium plan is actually we're listing a lot of restaurants onto the system preemptively, and then we actually have access to their internal dashboard before we convert them over as a customer, so we can actually see how much revenue they're losing by not being on Peckish. Because a consumer could, by doing direct ordering from Peckish, we can, for example, if you're looking at a restaurant that is unclaimed, let's say, and they go to add a specific menu item to their cart, but they're not signed up or integrated, we'll actually redirect them to a restaurant that is with a similar product, but then tell that original restaurant, look, this month you lost 40 sales, and say if your average minimum order price is €15, you're potentially losing out on €500 sales, where it's only, if you're on the base plan, it's €20 a month, or if you're on the standard, it's €40 a month, and you're not actually seeing any extra commissions on these orders. So it's a no. We don't even say it's a win-win. It's a no-lose situation for the restaurants.
Excellent. Very clever. Very clever. Have we time for one more, Chris?
Last question, Fergal. Where
Yeah, just probably an important one as well. Who would ideally acquire Peckish?
Sure. If we were going for an acquisition in the next few years, there's a number of operators in the space across ordering and food discovery. So TripAdvisor, Deliveroo, Just Eat, Square, Toast POS system, which are entering the Irish market now. They'd be in a best position to add Peckish to their suite of services or kind of acquire our customer base. But I suppose acquisition is a potential exit strategy. That's not our focus. Growth and expansion is our focus at the moment.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Right.
Thanks a million, Paul.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Paul. Excellent presentation and great answers there. And now it's time for Halo and Liam. Thank you very much for joining on, Liam. So Liam is the COO for HaloSOS. We're very proud to say that he and HaloSOS are part of the Spark alumni. They raised almost 160,000 with us 2 years ago now, almost 2 years ago, in the summer of 2020. And have used this to scale the business and secure 18 hotels for their product and service over in the DC area, which they are very happy about. And I'm sure Liam will tell you a bit more about in a second. They're about to go live on the site here with their second campaign, and they are looking for 450,000 from the Spark investment, in addition to the expected 250 that I think you're going to be getting from Enterprise Ireland for their follow-on investment as well. But again, you'll talk about that in a second, I guess. Many of the investors who invested in Spark in the last round have indicated that they'll be following on their investment in this round as well, including a small consortium of seasoned investors that will be increasing their investment amount, which we're very happy about as well. So Liam, I'll hand the floor to you. So if you can start sharing your screen and have your presentation. And again, if anybody wants to ask a question of Liam, and Fiona, because Fiona's in the background as well somewhere, please put it into the Q&A, and away you go, Liam.
We all set? We can all see, yeah?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Great, thanks, Chris. So the very first market that HaloSOS has delivered its safety as a service software to is the newly regulated and newly legislated. And that kind of makes up about 9 million rooms. We've proven our technology and now we've proven our business model. So we're looking to raise 700K to scale the business. But let's talk about where these kind of regulations and legislation came from. So 2018, there was a survey done by the largest hotel union in the US, and it found that 58% of its members, just like Maria here, had been sexually assaulted or harassed by a hotel guest. And that was a big catalyst for change, because the brands took ownership of it then and said, okay, going forward, if you're operating our brand, you must provide a safety service to your staff. So that's a regulation. The two problems we're solving is, one, we're solving a problem around Maria's safety in personal safety incidents or crisis incidents like active shooter. But the second problem we're solving is for the hotel operators, which is around compliance with the legislation and regulation. So how does it work? So Maria comes in every morning, she goes to our rack charger and she picks up a little wearable, and that wearable then she uses throughout the day. The other thing we've deployed throughout the property is a series of locator beacons, so we know where Maria is in any particular room. So scenario number one, Maria walks into a room, there's a guy standing there in a towel, she feels uncomfortable. Maria knows 3 things at that point in time. First thing she knows is she's multiple ways of generating an alarm. So she can press the button on the watch, or if she's in a struggle and her hands are occupied, she can simply call out a keyword and it generates the alarm. Second thing Maria knows is the responding team know which room she's in. If she moves to another room, they know which room she's in, or even if she goes outside, they know where she is. And the third thing Maria knows is that the message was delivered instantly. So the team are actually on the way already. So big comfort around Maria's safety. We're live in 3 hotels. We've monitored about, well, in excess of 120,000 hours of staff safety at this point in time. And I definitely argue that our metrics are far superior to any of our competitors. The second part of the solution involves a crisis event. So that starts with the security team, generate an alarm, and there's two things they need to know at that point in time. They need to know where Maria and her colleagues are, and they need to give her a message for better outcomes. I mentioned earlier the regulations. So there's two parts. So the regulations cover about 5 million rooms in the US, and all the brands are enforcing this and enforcing this heavily. And the deadline for this, that if you operate one of these brands, is 31st December 2023. So there's time pressure on these guys now. The second 4.5 million rooms in the US being potentially covered by legislation it comes from city ordinances and comes from states. So the big states still pending are California. Once that kicks in, that's a further driver to the business. Right now, of the roughly 9 million rooms in America, 80% still have to be completed and don't have a solution in place. Chris mentioned we did previously raised 159,000 with Spark in 2020. And with that, what we did was, the first thing we did was we built a great little team. So you've got some experienced old heads and some new kind of young gun developers coming in. We created a competitive advantage with our rack charger that kind of improves operational efficiencies for Maria picking up her watch in the morning. We deployed a trial site in Buswells where we test everything technically. But more importantly, we got this. This was our first commercial contract. And it is a 500-bed hotel in downtown DC, about 1 kilometer from the White House. It's a Marriott, but Marriott don't own properties or operate properties. It's actually operated by a company called Crestline, which have another 126 properties. And this gentleman here is Donovan. He's the GM. He's a Crestline employee. He has given us a stellar reference, and he's been an advocate and is advocating for us at the moment into the rest of the Crestline group across those 126 hotels. That's Marvin. He's our first reseller. He was our first reseller out of the US. That's himself and I at a trade show last year. And trade shows are very important for us going forward and what we'll spend quite a bit of budget on. But the big thing we did is we got this group. We got Donahoe Hospitality. So Donahoe Hospitality gave us an 18 hotel deal. It solidified our places in Maryland, DC, Virginia area. It gave us a foothold in, or gives us a foothold in Vegas. And it gives us referenceability with all these new brands that you can see there. This is what we've done. We have 3 management contracts, or engaged with 3 management companies at contractual level. Between them, they have 150 other properties, which we hope to scale across. We now have over 950 beds. We did a hotel yesterday, so we're now over 950 beds under staff safety. Contracted but not deployed, we have another 16 hotels to go and about 4,000 rooms to be delivered this year. Our pipeline to the end of the year looks pretty good in terms of we've got 5 new management companies strongly in there at demo level, and we've 23,000 rooms. These are some of the brands we have. These are some of the brands that we're hoping to get by the end of this year. I'll call out 2 there. One is Arlo. We've got the verbal on that. It's a New York City hotel that gives a presence in New York. And then there's another group there called Concord, which they have a number of properties in the Colorado area. The way we sell to the management companies. That's who we target. Get into one hotel, scale across them. That's the approach. And we do a hybrid model of direct and indirect sales. Model is very simple, and hotels, they're used to paying for things this way. It's based on an install per room basis. So it's $50 per room install and $3 per room per month for a 3-year term contract. And about 65, 70% of that is recurring. We're hoping to do 48 hotels this year. We've already got 18 secured. You'll notice in the figures, there's quite a scale up there in 2023. And I think it's important that we say where that's coming from. And it kind of appears here in this, these are kind of key milestones for us. So the first thing to say is we're going to break even around 25,000 rooms, and we're well on our way to that. But where does this hockey stick effect come from? Well, it comes from the pressures, external market pressures. So first pressure is pressure coming on from the 5-star brand mandate. People have to do it, that we're already beginning to see that filter through the industry. Second thing is California or Florida legislate, you're going to see massive pressure on the industry to deploy the solutions. And the third thing is collective bargaining agreements with the unions in places like New Mexico and DC are pushing the adoption of the service. For us, Our aim is 300,000 rooms by the end of 2024, and that gives us 10 million in annual recurring revenue. These are some of our competitors. These are our competitors. Important to say about them, they have two things in common. One, they all provide dumb panic buttons, and two, we've beaten every single one of them. I'll draw your attention to Assa Abloy there. They are a potential exit for us, and we're niggling away at them at the moment. As I said, they all provide dumb panic buttons. We're the only ones that provide smart wearable. And what that means is they can't do voice activation. They can't do proper accurate locating indoors, and they can't do proper crisis notification. But really, the bigger thing is they don't have a product roadmap. So for us, our product roadmap is being steered by the hotels. These are the things they want. They want simple messaging. They want access control. And we're the only company who will be able to deliver that to them. None of our other competitors will be. Cash requirement, funding requirement is 700K. EI have indicated 250,000, so we're looking at 450,000 from the Spark platform, and we're looking at a valuation of about 100 million in 2024. This is the team. As I said, you've got a bunch of old heads and young guns there. Between us, we've developed, sold, deployed, delivered solutions across in the mission critical space across 8 different countries. And our values there have been very important to us in making sales in the past, and we continue to live by those values. In terms of the exit, it is very active. There's a lot of M&A goes on. There's only been one IPO, that's Buddy. But for us, it's most likely going to be one of these two guys. So Assa Abloy, I mentioned earlier, is a competitor. And the way they grow and the way they take people is they actually just buy companies. So Assa Abloy over the last 20 years has made a purchase or an acquisition at least once a quarter. Dormakaba, direct competitor to Assa Abloy, are not in the staff safety place, but we've just started partnering with them around the access control for the Marriotts. So they're two really good potential exits that we see for the business. I think we covered a lot of ground there. We'll open it up to any questions on what we covered or anything that I missed there. Please feel free to go ahead.
Excellent, Liam. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, loads of questions coming in. So we'll kick straight off. Maybe you want to close your presentation and we can get into some of those. So first question in, can you please explain a little bit more what happens? You mentioned the 5-star promise. So what happens if a company does not comply with that 5-star promise that you talked about?
Great. Hi, everybody. I guess I can take that one, Chris. Yeah, there's a number of things that can happen to a hotel if they're not compliant. One of the first things that can happen is if a housekeeper reports them as being non-compliant, the hotel can be fined or have a penalty associated with each housekeeper that doesn't have a safety solution. So that would be $350 per day per housekeeper. So per housekeeper, that could equate to, $10,000 per month, $125,000 per year if that brand is non-compliant. After that, there's legislation. There's 3 states and 9 cities that have ordinances and laws. So they all have fines that could be implemented. If a housekeeper is attacked and there is nothing in the hotel, there's massive legal implications on the hotel as well. So the fines do mount up and they are considerable.
Right. Oh, wow.
Excellent. Question for you guys here, just regarding the verticals. Obviously, you've nailed the hotel industries. Are you looking at kind of another vertical that you could enter?
Yeah, I think very quickly after hotels, we're already looking at the private healthcare industry in the United States as well and across Europe and globally. But we will start with the United States because they have about 5,000 private healthcare facilities over there. This industry is worth over 75 million by 2025. They have 12 assaults per 100 rooms. It's a major cause of concern. It's becoming more and more of a cause of concern. But most importantly for us, we do have experience and expertise in our team in the private healthcare space, and hotels and healthcare, private healthcare, they're very similar. So private healthcare is like a hotel, individual rooms, and we'll approach it the very, very same way in terms of delivery, and the architecture will be the same.
Excellent. And improved revenue margins as well, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is going back to your example of Maria. How does the responding team know which room Maria is in?
Well, that's one thing that we do extraordinarily well. Each room has to have a beacon so that we can locate the person down to room level. So when we deliver to a hotel, we just don't deliver to the rooms, because Maria may decide that she wants to leave the room quickly. So we want to know where she is in the building. What we can do then is identify where she is as she moves. So we locate the person once they've raised an alarm. So each room has a beacon, and that our device talks to the beacon. Liam has the beacon there. If Maria leaves the building for any reason, we can also locate her outside of the building.
Excellent. Okay.
Excellent. That leads us on nicely to actually a good question here regarding the maintenance of the equipment, and is it embedded in the costs, or is it additional, has been factored in, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first thing is it's very low maintenance. It's a very easy install and very low maintenance. There's no data connections, there's no power connections, it's literally stuck onto the wall. So in terms of maintenance, the only thing you can maintain around this is replacement of the batteries, right? The batteries of this beacon will last between 5 and 8 years. Right now, we will be charging a maintenance fee, or about 15% of the recurring, to do a battery replacement solution, but it's not really a thing that we have to do. It's something that we can do. In terms of maintenance on the watches, we monitor all those remotely. So if something goes wrong with one of the watches, they have to obviously pay for that. But there's very little in terms of maintenance work to be done. But it's quite a high margin area that we can develop further.
Excellent. They've been all field tested.
Do you install the BLE? BLE, I think, is Bluetooth, BLE Lite, Bluetooth Lite, is it? I think.
Yeah,
do you install the BLE infrastructure yourselves? Which platform is it? Can you leverage on existing BLE infrastructure?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our partners install the BLE infrastructure, these little beacons. They're very simple to install, so that's a nice easy win for us. We actually use the iBeacon protocol. The beacon itself for us is pretty dumb. So all it does is it, every 350 milliseconds says, I'm room 201, I'm room 201. That's all it does. All the smarts exist in the wearable. That's where all our smart algorithms are. So we operate an iBeacon. We could potentially leverage other infrastructure, but really where our headspace is at is not us leveraging somebody else's infrastructure. It's somebody leveraging our infrastructure. So we maintain ownership of this thing. So right now we're talking to a company in South Carolina who wants to do proximity marketing and have a proximity marketing platform. So we see them as a potential revenue stream coming off the back of our platform, as opposed to us going off the back of somebody else's platform.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Brilliant. I have someone here, actually, one of the investors that's following you on LinkedIn. He just noticed that you went live in a hotel yesterday. So congratulations, and just asking a bit of details on that. Who are they? And maybe a bit of an update on those guys.
Yeah, that was the Draftsman in Charlottesville, Virginia, where we delivered over 200 beacons and 12 safety devices to protect 12 housekeepers on duty there. We did the training with them yesterday, final handover. It takes about 2 days to deliver the beacons, install, test and handover. That was all done with our partners yesterday. So that takes us into Virginia. So our first hotel in Virginia, and part of that overall 18 hotel deal with the Donahue Group, which brings us 5 new brands into 5 states in total. So that's the second state, and we're delivering the next one after that, which is a 600 room hotel, the Holiday Inn in DC, which will be our second hotel in DC. That's next off the ranks.
Very good. Very good. Right, guys, we've run out of time for any more, but we've got a load of other questions, so we'll get you to answer these offline, and we can publish those at a later date. But for now, thank you very much indeed. Excellent presentation. Thanks. And some great answers there. So hopefully that has satiated some of the questions from the investors. So thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, now we have Site Passport and Rob Fox. Rob, are you there?
Yeah, good afternoon, Chris.
Here he is. Good man. Thanks very much for joining us. Rob is CEO of Site Passport, and it's about to go live on the platform looking for 300,000 euros. So it is a B2B SaaS product that helps medium and large construction companies to find, manage, and measure their subcontractors. This is especially necessary to ensure that these tight margin relationships add value to the businesses. So they have already raised 155,000 of that 300 and are going live very, very soon. So Rob, I'll let you to do your presentation. So if you can share your screen, please.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
And I'll fade into the background. So that looks good. Maximize, and away you go.
Sorry, just trying to get rid of the bar at the bottom there. Yes.
You've gone on mute for some reason.
Yeah, sorry, Chris, I'm back there. Yeah, just trying to get rid of this bar down the bottom. Allow me to maximize it. So just 1 second. Okay.
Okay, where you go.
Yeah, I just can't get it to maximize for some reason, but I'll power on there now. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. As Chris said, my name is Rob Fox. I'm the excuse me, the CEO and founder of Site Passport, the critical construction technology platform used by construction companies to optimize their supply chain. Now, most people know that the construction industry is a massive industry worth over $12 trillion globally. However, what most people don't realize is that the construction industry is really a subcontractor industry, where over 80% of the value of all construction projects is outsourced to the subcontractors and to the suppliers. Now, this means that the selection of the subcontractors presents the biggest risk, but also the biggest opportunity for main contractors. And incredibly, the selection of these subcontractors is mostly done on a random basis through educated guesswork rather than through real accurate data or reliable business intelligence. And can you imagine, I suppose, selecting a credit card or a car insurance or a hotel room without visiting a comparison platform? Yet main contractors make multi-euro million decisions every day of the week based on poor quality information. And recently, the managing director of main contractor was telling me how by choosing the wrong electrical contractor for one of their projects, it's going to cost his company over 2 million euros, which is enormous. We're not just a comparison platform in the construction sector. Project performance and compliance are essential too, with over 80% of the project's value attached to the supply chain. The strategic selection of these subcontractor suppliers is absolutely critical in a highly competitive industry, as Chris said, where margins are very, very thin. The Site Passport technology provides a number of solutions to construction companies. The first is enhanced business intelligence through supply chain sourcing and data analytics. We also provide sustainability assessment tools, including for ESG. We provide advanced procurement, including for the construction products and materials, which is a key aspect for us. And we are laser focused on maximizing the performance of the supply chain, particularly as the global economy faces increased volatility and regulatory pressures in the area of ESG, or environmental and social governance. The construction industry, as I said, is worth over $12 trillion globally, but it's also the second fastest growing industry in the world, second only to technology, and it's expected to grow by 25% in just 3 years to 16 trillion. It's enormous figures. We found our market sweet spot, and we estimate our serviceable addressable market is 110 million euros across Ireland and the UK. And our main focus is on main contractors, particularly less than 150 million euros. And that generates a serviceable obtainable market of 35 million. Our goal is to be annualizing close to 2 million euros by 2024 and to reach 4 million by 2026. We already have 14 paying customers signed up and using the SitePassport platform, including some of the best known construction companies such as Walls Construction, iPut and Clancy Construction. And we have four more additional contracts in negotiation at this stage. And our projections are that we'll be annualizing revenues of 250,000 euros this year. I suppose what's so impressive about the SitePassport platform is the return on investment, which is very persuasive for construction companies. So for a 30 million euro construction project, an annual cost of almost 10,000 euros, we can deliver savings of over 200,000 euros, which is an incredible 20x return on investment. The SitePassport business model is modular and SaaS-based, and currently our contracts range in value from 3,000 euros a year to 36,000 euros a year. We've won several key contracts in Ireland, as I mentioned, and our expansion to the UK is our next strategic focus. We've already some traction in the UK working with Irish-based contractors who have operations in the UK, and we're in early discussions with a number of UK-based companies. And our initial sweet spot for contractors is companies with a turnover in the UK of less than 150 million pounds. And this will be the focus for our activities in 2022. We do have competition, obviously, and these are in, excuse me. First of all, I'd like to explain to you about our unique selling point. I suppose essentially what SitePassport does is unifies all the essential components of supply chain management and provides the data analytics to enable better decision making and to optimize performance, obviously. Our competitors typically fall into three categories in the construction technology space, and there is some overlap with what they provide. The first of these was estimation and commercial software, but we see ourselves being highly complementary to these solutions, as the pricing output from these systems can be fed directly into our platform to form part of a more accurate and rounded evaluation of the supply chain. The second is our site management software. And again, there's a slight overlap with some of these guys provide, but we're essentially are complementary to these companies too. And by integrating with them, we can facilitate the seamless transfer of data from the pre-construction teams to the construction management teams. And we've already implemented a full integration with Procore Technologies, who are one of the big global players in the space and IPO'd last year for over $8 billion. And thirdly, in the UK specifically, there are a number of well-established pre-qualification auditing companies like Construction Line that many of the tier one contractors use as their first layer of due diligence. And even though tier one contractors in the UK are not our initial target market, our software is complementary to these solutions by providing the ability for contractors to layer on additional information and to optimize their decision making. We have a great management team, has a wealth of both domain and business experience. As the CEO and founder, my core expertise is construction engineering. I'm a chartered civil engineer, and prior to setting up SitePassport, I worked for tier one main contractors both in Ireland and Australia for over 20 years. Fergal is our Chief Marketing Officer and has over 15 years experience working in international technology, media and marketing companies, including the UK broadcaster ITV. And Vinny Lynch is our sales lead, and with a particular focus on the UK market. And I'm going to just pass you over to Vinny now for a few minutes.
Thank you, Rob. So yeah, my name is Vinny Lynch, and I was previously the founder and CEO, or co-founder and CEO of Downseed construction software as a service technology business. And with Downseed, we grew the sales in the UK over a 4-year period to £1 million ARR. And we were subsequently acquired by Causeway in technologies in 2014, and they would be a well-known market leader in this construction technology space. You know, at SitePassport, I suppose our target market is very, very similar to the Downseed target market group. So my primary role really is to leverage my network from the work that I did in the past in building Downseed, and to kind of fast track Site Passport into that network to create pipeline and to really help Site Passport, I suppose, not make some of the mistakes that I made along the way. The UK is a different market to Ireland, so there are certain nuances and challenges that go with that, but also opportunities. The work is already underway. We've been combining our direct outreach with partnership work with Enterprise Ireland, the British and Irish Trading Lines, and the London Irish Construction Network as well. All networks I've been very actively engaged with during my Dancy days and have kept up and nurtured those relationships in the interim period. So yeah, I think we're in a really strong position to make great progress over the next 12 to 24 months. And one thing I would say is, while various opportunities have kind of passed by me over the last 10 years or passed by my desk, and you'd look at them from time to time, this is the first one that really grabbed my attention, and is the first kind of foray for me back into the UK construction SaaS market. The value proposition is compelling, and the bar is low in terms of the ease of getting up and running for contractors to access that value. And that's really key in construction. It has to be very, very easy to grasp and get the value from. And with Site Passport, we're primed to give them that ease and access to that value. Thanks, Rob.
That's great. Thanks for that, Vinny. So I suppose behind every great technology company, there has to be a great technology team, and Tiernan and Jefferson, between them, have 15 years experience and develop all of our software in-house. And that gives us complete control over the quality and the delivery of our product development. The company's already generating revenues, as I said, and we're projected to reach almost €250,000 this year. And our projections are to be annualizing close to 2 million by 2024, and to double these figures to 4 million by 2026, with a profit margin of 15%. So the investment that we're raising is €300,000, as Chris said earlier on, at a pre-money valuation of 2.1 million. As an Enterprise Ireland high potential startup client, we'll receive up to 200,000 in additional funding from Enterprise Ireland. The funds will be primarily used for expansion into the UK market, as Vinny outlined there, and also to further develop our suite of integrations with other technology partners. Our ultimate ambition is supposed to be acquired by one of the main players in the construction technology space within the next 5 years. And we've already had one acquisition inquiry in 2021. So why would you consider an investment in Site Passport? Well, Site Passport solves the critical pain point in any construction project, where subcontractors and supply chain account for over 80% of the value of the construction projects. We provide construction companies with the data analytics to ensure they select the appropriate supply chain and to maximize the value and project performance. By implementing our technology, construction companies can achieve a 20x return on their investment. And as you can see, we have a great team that has huge domain experience across the construction, but also the critical areas of marketing, sales, and technology. We have already demonstrated significant traction in the market with 14 paying customers and annualized revenues approaching €250,000 for this year. As I mentioned, we're a HBSU client. We're also an EIIS qualifying client. And this means that for €1,000, €1,000 investment, you can put in 100,000 if you like, but a €1,000 investment only costs the investor a net amount of €600. And as you know, the minimum investment is 100. And as Chris outlined, investors pay no commission on the Spark platform. So thank you very much for your time, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Hi, Rob. Yeah, plenty of questions in here. I think Chris is on mute. Just a question around the ESG. It's obviously a huge topic at the moment, and a very hot space. And you're obviously in the construction space as well, which is a lot of, in the technology space, which is a lot of acquisitions. So can you explain in more detail why ESG is going to play such a big role in the growth of Site Passport?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And obviously ESG is a hot topic across lots of industries. But particularly in the construction space. I suppose in essence why it's so important is that there's a huge amount of green finance coming into the construction sector, and in order to avail of that cheaper green finance, there are strict requirements under the areas of ESG. And I suppose one of the key parts of that is that there's been a lot of greenwashing in lots of industries, particularly in construction, around people sort of window dressing the whole area of environmental sustainability. But now it's going to come very much down to metrics. You know, it's not okay to have a certificate that says you're great for the environment. You have to show the level of carbon involved, and there's so many other impact, exactly. So, but another key part of that is that in addition to there being a huge amount more information needed and a huge more evidence and measurable evidence available, another key part is that before projects can get off the ground, this information is going to have to be made available. So now what you have is this kind of compounded scenario whereby there's a huge amount of more information required, and it's required much earlier in the process. And already main contractors and clients and subcontractor supply chain are struggling with this. So what we are in the process of developing, we have developed a product in this area and top for general supply chain management solutions, is in helping companies get that information from their suppliers right down to that level of detail.
So you have a full audit trail all the way back up to the contractor. Excellent.
Exactly.
Thanks for pointing out that I was on mute, Fergal, and thanks for taking over. So what other regulatory changes are on the horizon that might impact on Site Passport's business?
Yeah, good question. Obviously, somebody knows the market out there. In the UK in particular, there's a new building safety bill coming out, and that's really as a result of the Grenfell tragedy a number of years ago, and it's taken this long for it to come into law. But essentially, that is going to, again, like ESG, is going to drive the amount of information through the roof that's needed in relation to construction products and materials in particular, because as people would know, it was the cladding system that failed so drastically in that particular building. And so a key part for us, again, is being able to help both clients and design teams through their main contractors and through the supply chain to capture that data, but to capture it in a structured way that actually allows the process to be more measurable, but also to speed up the process.
Excellent. Just another question here. Just remind everyone, just the Q&A section. I have a question here in the chat just around, I suppose, the KPIs. So you have a number of contractors and subcontractors on the platform. So can you give us a couple of numbers there on those, and the number of contractors and subbies that you have, Rob?
Yeah, so I suppose we've, as I said, we've 14 paying customers on the platform at the moment, which includes, as I mentioned earlier on, some, the top construction companies in Ireland, like Walls Construction and Clancy Construction, and we've more of those guys coming on board this month. In relation to the subcontractor side, that's an interesting question. I suppose in that, part of our offering is building up a database of the available supply chain that these companies can proactively reach out to. In Ireland, we have a database of over 5,000 subcontractors and suppliers. We've already begun to emulate that in the UK. We've developed out, we're into several thousand companies in the UK as part of that, and we're testing our solution with our Irish-based contractors who have operations in the UK, just to iron out any wrinkles in relation to subtleties between, how subcontractors view the world in the UK versus Ireland. And there's, construction is construction across the world, doesn't change that much, but there can be cultural and sometimes legal and regulatory differences that we're able to tease out through this testing.
Excellent, very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Right, Rob, thanks very much for that. There are other questions that are in the Q&A there, but we will have to get those done offline. So, but thank you very much for that indeed, and great presentation, good answers. So, guys, that just leaves me to close the session for today. Thanks very much for attending. All the campaigns are either open or will be very, very, very soon open on the site. You've heard from all the principals, and I think you'll agree that they're all worth serious consideration for investment. We've already got a number of follow-up meetings with some of the investors for these businesses already planned. So if you would like to avail of that one-to-one meeting with them, as I spoke of before, please get in touch with us and we can facilitate that for you. We had our first person-to-person event. We've had two of them actually over the last couple of months, and we hope to have some more soon. We had one in Cork, as I mentioned, down at Republic of Work, and we've also had one in the Fitzwilliam Hotel a short while ago, which was very successful and very well attended. So we're happy to do some more of those, which you can actually see and meet the investees face to face as well. So I think that's it for today. Thanks very much for attending, and hope to see you all very soon. So thanks very much, and goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.